This might be surprising because of my channel name and the content that I make and am known for, but Zombies is actually my favorite Disney Channel original movie musical series. And just to put it into perspective, I was a part of the generation that grew up with the Cheetah Girls, High School Musical, and Camp Rock. So for me to really love Zombies this much, I think definitely shows how awesome Zombies actually is. Of course, though, Descendants is very near and dear to my heart, and I wouldn't make the content that I make if I didn't truly love Descendants as much as I do. I love both of them. I love Zombies and I love Descendants. They are both some of my favorite things, and I love them more than words can describe. I want to point out that I think a large part of why Zombies is my favorite is because of the character Addison. And without getting too personal, all I want to say is that I don't think I have ever related to a character more than I do to Addison. And you'd think that because Zombies is my favorite, that I would be super excited for Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires. And you would be correct. I am excited for it. But I am also a little skeptical because of Disney Channel's track record when it comes to the fourth installment of their DComs. And although Brighter With You is a bop and definitely the best song from the series, I don't like the direction that Disney took Zombies with in the reanimated series. But I also didn't like Addison's Moonstone Mystery, so I'm starting to think that Zombies should just stick to full-length films. So before I get into my skepticism and the whole reason for making this video, I do want to take a look back at the past with Zombies and see how the story has progressed, regressed, and how we ended up to where we are now with Dawn of the Vampires. Now let's take it all the way back to 2018 with the very first Zombies film, and this movie was actually kind of controversial in the months leading up to its release because Disney was marketing it as from the brains behind Descendants, and the Descendants fans did not like that at all. It's actually really sad to think about because people were being so hateful toward the cast for being in this movie. And I even remember that I had posted on Instagram about Zombies, and Meg Donnelly's cousin commented on my post and said something along the lines of like, Meg has worked really hard on this movie, guys. Please give it a chance. Please don't be mean to her. And that just broke my heart, especially because everyone switched up once this movie came out. And more importantly, in my own opinion, I think that the first Zombies film is the best one and is also one of the best and most important DComs that Disney has ever made, period. And if you don't understand why I am so comfortable making a statement like that, then I highly suggest that you open up a history book and try to watch Zombies again. From the costume details to the way that Addison's suburb is shown in the film, it's so clear that Zombies is drawing inspiration from the 60s, which is so genius because the first film is an allegory for segregation and discrimination. I would say that the only bad thing about the first Zombies movie is Addison's actual Party City wig, but I do want to give the creators some grace because I think that Disney itself didn't even have enough faith in this film to want it to succeed and get a sequel, so they probably didn't care what the wig looked like as long as it looked bad. So moving on to Zombies 2, which was released in 2020, we are now in werewolf territory, and I think that the allegory in this film is still somewhat obvious, but it is a little more subtle than the first movie. I do admit that using werewolves to represent Indigenous American history is not that creative and has been done before, but I think that the filmmakers handled it really well. I never really see anybody talk about the assimilation that's really going on in Zombies 2, where you have Zed trying to assimilate into humans, and then Zed also tries to assimilate the werewolves into acting like zombies who then want to act like humans. Also, I have to say that Chandler Kinney as Willa, specifically in Zombies 2, is so cool. She's so cool. I love her in this movie. And although I didn't appreciate it when the film came out, upon revisiting Flesh and Bone, specifically during this time period that America is in right now, I think we need something like this more than ever. And I think that Flesh and Bone is definitely one of the most important songs ever to be recorded for a Disney movie. And although I just hyped up Zombies 2, it's actually my least favorite of the Zombies movies, but I still respect it and appreciate it because I think that there's definitely a lot to learn from this movie. Next in the Zombies series is Zombies 3, which was released in 2022 on Disney+. And Z3 is a huge contributor to my skepticism for Z4 because Zombies 3 really felt like the end, and it felt like a finale. Addison discovers that she is part alien upon the arrival of the aliens, and then she and Zed are going to go to college together, and it really just felt like a decent ending to the series. Zombies 3 is not my favorite film of the series. It does have my favorite soundtrack, but it's not my favorite movie, and I felt like parts of it felt rushed, and maybe Disney interfered with some things, considering that the allegory of illegal aliens wasn't really touched on at all in this movie. But even with those qualms, I still felt satisfied after watching it. I felt like it was a decent conclusion to Addison and Zed's story. And now we have arrived at Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires. And something that I am so thankful for and really excited about is that pretty much the entire creative team from the other Zombies films did return for the fourth installment. I think the only really big change that would impact Zombies 4 would be visually, and that would be because Zombies 4 was filmed in New Zealand, whereas the previous 3 Zombies films were filmed in Toronto, and not all of our favorite characters are returning, unfortunately. Only Addison, Willa, Eliza, and Zed are returning for the fourth movie. For me, personally, the biggest loss is Carla Jeffrey, who played Bree in the Zombies movies. I think I'll feel that one the most, but I am still happy that Disney decided to bring back Eliza and Willa in addition to Addison and Zed to kind of pass the torch to these new characters. And it seems like the leads are passing that torch to Victor and Nova, who I could be wrong, but I believe they are both vampires, but like different types of vampires, which makes me wonder what the thesis is. What's the allegory in this film? What's the point of this film? What is the point that Disney is trying to make with Dawn of the Vampires? What do these breeds of vampires represent, and what are they going to add to the Zombies universe? And if they don't add anything, then I will think that this movie should not exist. I am a true believer that not every single form of art or entertainment has to have some sort of deeper, complex meaning or point, but based on the previous Zombies movies and what they have added to the Disney Channel canon, I would be so disappointed if this movie really is just a cash grab. And on a more superficial level, that really does not matter at all. I really do not like Addison's new look for this movie. I simply cannot stand it. I do not like it. It makes no sense for the character. A huge part of Addison in the first movie was that she had this white hair that she kept secret her entire life because she couldn't change it. She couldn't do anything with it. And then in Zombies 3, she finally becomes an alien and gets her true hair color, which is blue. And rest in peace to this look because it was gone far too soon and we did not get enough screen time with it. And for whatever reason, in the reanimated series, they decided to give Addison her white hair again, but she got blue tips at the end of it. And I don't necessarily like it, but it's the reanimated series that I don't watch anyway, so okay, whatever, I can just ignore that this happened. But then they decided to bring it into Zombies 4 with Addison's new look, and I don't like it because it does not make sense for the character at all. And it could just be the lighting, but this hair looks very blonde to me. It does not look white. And again, that is further removing this very important aspect of this character further and further from the character itself. So this design choice is an absolute no from me. I do not like it. Of course, if there's dolls, I'll be buying like 10 of them. Like, of course, I'll support it. But I'm not happy about it. So to conclude my thoughts on Dawn of the Vampires, I think that Disney put itself in a really good position to give us a great movie. We have most of the same characters back, same creative team, and we do have new characters that could become new fan favorites. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie yet. I am just a little bit worried, though, because based on some of these small design choices and the inclusion of vampires, when we've already seen vampires in the form of Vanna and her family in Addison's Moonstone Mystery, I feel like the plot is slowly getting lost. Disney has all of the equipment, and I just really, really hope that somebody read the manual. So thank you so much for watching and listening to me ramble about zombies for 10 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know down in the comments your thoughts on Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires and if you're excited for it. And more importantly, don't forget to drink your water, mind your business, and remember that you are a goddamn superstar. I love you. Peace.